Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As we step into 2025, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of expectations, obligations, and the relentless pace of the world around us. We often find ourselves pulled in every direction by society, by others, and sometimes even by our own ambitions. But here's the truth. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And if you don't take the time to focus on who you are, where you're going, and what you want, then all the noise will drown out the clarity you need to build the life you deserve. So let's talk about focusing on yourself in 2025. Not in a selfish or isolating way, but in a way that ensures you're growing, evolving, and living on your terms. This year, it's time to tune out the distractions, take full responsibility for our journey, and commit to becoming the best versions of ourselves. Because when you focus on you, everything around you starts to align in a way that propels you forward. Let's dive into how to make 2025 the year you truly focus on yourself. Self-discovery and growth are the foundations upon which any meaningful transformation in life is built. In 2025, it's time to stop merely existing and start living with intention. To truly focus on yourself, you need to commit to understanding who you are, what drives you, and what holds you back. Self-discovery isn't just a one-time event, it's an ongoing journey. The more you learn about yourself, the better equipped you become to make informed decisions that align with your deepest values and aspirations. One of the most powerful aspects of self-discovery is understanding that growth is not always about changing who you are, but about fully embracing your authenticity. In a world that often encourages us to conform to others' expectations or to fit into predefined molds, the act of understanding yourself can be revolutionary. You are not the person you were yesterday, and you won't be the same tomorrow, but the essence of who you are remains constant. The essence of who you are remains constant. This is why self-awareness is so crucial. Knowing who you are at your core allows you to make decisions that feel right for you, rather than being swayed by the pressure of others. It also enables you to cultivate the kind of inner peace that comes from accepting your strengths and weaknesses, your successes and failures, as part of your unique journey. Growth, however, involves pushing past the comfort zones that keep you stagnating. It's easy to settle into routines that feel safe, but true growth requires the courage to step into the unknown. The fear of failure often holds people back from pursuing their dreams or taking on challenges that could transform their lives. In 2025, challenge yourself to embrace discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when things are easy or predictable. It happens when you step up to the plate and take on situations that test your abilities and push you to think in new ways. The moments of struggle you face in those times are the exact experiences that shape your future self. To your future self, be glad because the situations you face today are tomorrow's opportunities. In this process of growth, you also need to acknowledge that mistakes are not just inevitable, they are essential. Each mistake you make holds valuable lessons about your capabilities, your decision-making, and the areas in which you need to improve. There is no such thing as a failure if you learn something from it. In fact, growth often occurs in the face of setbacks. Every challenge presents an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. The key is to stop seeing mistakes as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones. At the same time, self-discovery isn't always about embracing the grand, bold actions of change. Sometimes it's about the small, quiet moments of introspection. It's about understanding your emotional triggers, recognizing what brings you peace, and figuring out what truly motivates you. Often, we get caught up in the noise of the world, social media, societal pressure, or the demands of others, and forget to check in with ourselves. Taking time for self-reflection can bring clarity and insight into what truly matters. It allows you to tune into your inner voice and recognize when something is or isn't right for you. Building this awareness also opens the door to emotional growth. You can't begin to understand others if you don't first understand yourself. When you know what you feel and why you feel it, you can develop healthier relationships with others. You can communicate more effectively, empathize more deeply, and even make wiser choices when conflict arises. Growth in this area involves moving beyond surface-level interactions to create deeper, more meaningful connections. Moreover, self-discovery and growth require a mindset of continual learning. Embrace the idea that you'll never know it all, and there's always room for improvement. Whether it's acquiring new skills, gaining knowledge, or learning about different perspectives, each experience and lesson is an opportunity to evolve. In 2025, make it a point to commit to lifelong learning, whether that's through books, conversations, travel, or hands-on experiences. Or keep your mind open, your curiosity alive, and never stop questioning. Self-discovery and growth also lead to resilience. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will always arise. The difference between those who falter and those who thrive is their ability to adapt, learn, and grow through adversity. When you've spent time building a strong foundation of self-awareness, you develop a sense of resilience that helps you bounce back from hardship. You don't let failure define you. Instead, you learn from it, adapt to it, and keep moving forward with greater strength and clarity. Finally, in 2025, focusing on yourself means that you commit to an ongoing journey of becoming your best self. There is no endpoint to growth. It's a continuous evolution. Embrace the idea that you will always have room to grow. Celebrate your victories, learn from your losses, and take pride in your willingness to keep moving forward. Growth is not a destination, but a process, and it is in this process that you'll find your greatest fulfillment. When you commit to self-discovery and growth, you will see that every challenge becomes an opportunity, every setback becomes a lesson, and every step forward brings you closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. In today's world, distractions are not just frequent, they are relentless. From the constant pull of notifications on our phones to the ever-expanding demands of work, social commitments, and societal pressures, it can feel nearly impossible to maintain focus on the things that truly matter. Yet if you want to truly focus on yourself in 2025, one of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to overcome distractions. It's not just about blocking out external noise, it's about reclaiming your time, energy, and mental space to prioritize your personal growth, your well-being, and your goals. The first step in overcoming distractions is understanding what they are and how they work. Distractions come in many forms. Some are obvious, like the lure of social media or the endless cycle of news updates. Others are more subtle, like the expectations we internalize from others or the mental clutter that accumulates from being constantly busy. Many of these distractions are not inherently bad. In fact, some can even seem harmless at first. But when we let them consume too much of our time, they pull us away from our deeper purposes and priorities. They chip away at our focus, making it harder to see the bigger picture and harder to stay on track toward the goals that matter most. One of the biggest challenges we face is the societal pressure to be constantly on. In a world where hustle culture is glorified and where multitasking is often seen as a badge of honor, we are taught to juggle 100 different things at once. But the truth is, we are not built to focus on multiple things simultaneously. Viktor Frankl, the poet and author, once said, "We are frightened, slaughtered, and terrified." Our brains are wired for single tasking, and when we try to do too many things at once, we dilute our attention, leading to mistakes, fatigue, and a feeling of constant overwhelm. Overcoming distractions means learning to say no to other people, to other projects, to other demands, and saying yes to what truly matters to you. It means learning to prioritize and give your full attention to the things that will move you closer to your own personal vision. But it's not just external distractions we need to confront. Sometimes the hardest distractions to overcome are the ones within us. Negative thought patterns, self-doubt, and fear of failure can be just as paralyzing as any phone notification or email ping. These internal distractions can convince us that we aren't capable, that we don't have enough time, or that the obstacles in front of us are too great to overcome. The most dangerous thing about these mental distractions is that they often go unnoticed. We can spend hours, days, or even weeks trapped in cycles of self-doubt or overthinking, unable to make progress because our inner voice is too loud. Overcoming these internal distractions requires building mental discipline. It requires acknowledging when those voices of doubt are taking over and learning to redirect your thoughts toward positive, productive actions. One way to do this is through mindfulness practices. When you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings, you can begin to separate yourself from them. You don't have to act on every fleeting emotion or thought that crosses your mind. You can simply observe them without judgment and let them pass. This practice gives you more control over your mental landscape, allowing you to stay focused on your goals despite the mental noise. Furthermore, another powerful tool in overcoming distractions is time management. One of the biggest reasons we feel distracted is because we don't have clear boundaries around how we use our time. In 2025, it's time to reclaim your hours by setting up intentional, structured routines. Block out time for deep work, those periods where you can fully immerse yourself in a task without interruption. Set boundaries around your personal life as well. Use making time too, if you can. And finally, reach for self-care. That might mean saying no to events or invitations that don't align with your priorities, or setting limits on how much time you spend on activities that drain your energy. When you control your time, you regain your focus and ensure that you're giving your best to the things that matter most to you. Technology is another significant distraction in today's world, but it can also be one of the most powerful tools when used mindfully. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media or checking your emails every few minutes, use technology to your advantage. Set up productivity tools, calendar reminders, and apps that help you stay focused on your tasks. There are countless resources available that allow you to block distracting websites, track your progress, and even schedule moments of rest. Technology doesn't have to be your enemy. It can be an ally when used intentionally. Another aspect of overcoming distractions is learning to embrace solitude. In a world that values constant connection, being alone can feel uncomfortable or even unnerving. However, solitude is where clarity is born. When you spend time in silence, without the constant hum of noise from the outside world, you allow space for your mind to reset, for ideas to surface, and for your true thoughts and desires to emerge. This is where the real work of focusing on yourself happens. You need to learn how to sit with yourself, to disconnect from the noise, and to create that space for your mind to breathe. In this space, distractions lose their power. Lastly, it's important to realize that overcoming distractions isn't about achieving perfection. It's not about eliminating every external influence or silencing every negative thought. It's about creating habits, practices, and boundaries that allow you to consistently return to your purpose. Distractions will always be there. The goal is not to remove them entirely, but to develop the ability to recognize them, and more importantly, to choose to stay focused on what truly matters. When you do this, you unlock the full potential of your time and energy, and you begin to move closer to the person you want to become. At this new year, there's no excuse. It's time to redefine success in your life. Taking responsibility for your life is perhaps one of the most empowering choices you can make in 2025. In a world that often emphasizes external factors, what others do to us, what circumstances we find ourselves in, or what we've inherited from the past, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming everything and everyone around us for our challenges. But true empowerment comes from realizing that we have the power to shape our own destinies. When we take responsibility for our lives, we shift from being passive participants to active creators of our future. Taking responsibility means accepting that you are the ultimate author of your story. It means acknowledging that your actions, choices, and mindset have shaped the present moment. You are not defined by your circumstances, but rather by how you respond to them. The people you interact with, the opportunities you pursue, and the challenges you face all play a role. But ultimately, you have the power to decide how you will show up in your own life. In 2025, this mindset shift is essential. It is time to stop waiting for things to change and start taking the reins of your own future. One of the first steps in taking responsibility is understanding that your life is a reflection of the choices you make day in and day out. Whether it's the job you've chosen, the relationships you cultivate, or the habits you engage in, each decision you make contributes to the path you're walking. This doesn't mean that everything in life is within your control. There will always be factors beyond your influence. But it does mean that you have the power to control how you respond to what life throws at you. If you're not happy with the trajectory of your life, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what choices have I made that brought me here? Taking responsibility means owning those choices without shifting blame to others, the system, or your past. Of course, this is not always easy. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that we are victims of our circumstances, that external forces hold all the power, and that we have little control over the direction of our lives. But this belief is limiting, and it often keeps us stuck. When we blame others or the world for our challenges, we give away our power. We relinquish the ability to make change. Taking responsibility is an act of liberation. It gives you back the control you may not even realize you had. By acknowledging that your current situation is a result of your own choices, you immediately open up the possibility of change. If you made a choice that led you down an unfulfilling path, you can also choose to make a different decision moving forward. Taking responsibility also involves acknowledging your role in your own growth and success. It's easy to attribute achievements to luck, timing, or the help of others. While external factors certainly play a role in any success story, the truth is that you are the one who showed up, worked hard, and made the necessary sacrifices to get to where you are. In 2025, it's time to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to succeed. You have the power within you to make things happen. But to do so, you must first take ownership of your potential and recognize that you have a hand in the results of your efforts. The responsibility you take for your life is the fuel for your growth. Because without believing in your ability, without believing in your capability, it's important to note that taking responsibility doesn't mean taking on all the blame. Many people confuse responsibility with guilt or self-criticism. But responsibility is not about beating yourself up for past mistakes. It's about being honest with yourself and understanding that while mistakes are inevitable, you are the one who holds the power to change the future. If you make a mistake, own it, learn from it. Don't let it define you, but use it as a stepping stone to move forward with more wisdom and determination. Responsibility is about being proactive, not passive. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes, focus on what you can do now to shape your future. In fact, taking responsibility also means taking ownership of your emotions. It's easy to blame others for how we feel. If someone cuts us off in traffic, we can become angry and frustrated. If a colleague is dismissive, we can feel hurt or disrespected. But when we take responsibility for our feelings, we recognize that no one can make us feel anything without our consent. How we react is within our control. We have the ability to choose how we respond to the actions and words of others. By recognizing this, we can stop giving away our emotional power to others and start owning our own emotional responses. This is not about suppressing your feelings, but rather understanding that you have the ability to manage and direct them in a way that serves you. Taking responsibility for your life also requires you to take action. It's one thing to understand that you are responsible for your choices, but it's another to take the necessary steps to change the things you want to change. Taking responsibility means showing up, consistently doing the work, and putting in the effort to move toward your goals. It's not enough to acknowledge where you want to be in life. You must be willing to do what it takes to get there. This means taking risks, making tough decisions, and pushing through discomfort. It also means developing the discipline to stay focused, even when things don't go as planned. Taking responsibility is not just about acknowledging your role in life's events, it's about being committed to doing the work required to create the future you want. Ultimately, taking responsibility for your life means claiming your personal power. It's about realizing that while you may not be able to control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond, how you grow, and how you move forward. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop being a passive observer and become an active participant in the story of your own existence. In other words, you no longer control things, but you control the story of your own existence. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment, for someone else to make things right, or for the world to give you permission to succeed. The moment for change is now, and it starts with you. In conclusion, as we embark on this new year, 2025 offers us an incredible opportunity to transform our lives by focusing on ourselves. It's time to stop letting distractions, external pressures, and past regrets dictate the trajectory of our journey. By committing to self-discovery and growth, we unlock the true potential within us. By learning to overcome distractions, we take back control of our time, energy, and focus, allowing us to make meaningful progress toward our goals. And by taking full responsibility for our lives, we empower ourselves to become the architects of our future. The truth is, no one else can walk this path for you. You have the power to shape your destiny, to rise above the challenges, and to create the life you've always dreamed of. It starts with a decision to focus on yourself, to prioritize your well-being, and to take ownership of your choices. In 2025, let it be the year you commit to living with intention, embracing growth, and taking full responsibility for who you are and where you're going. Remember, the best time to start is now. Your future self is waiting, and it's in your hands to create. Let's make 2025 the year we focus on ourselves, rise to our fullest potential, and make the impact we were meant to make. Thank you. And let's get some more participation. Let's get some more creators to show the world what they can do.